Hello and welcome back to Down the Shore Homestead. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for supporting us and joining us on our journey. And if you're new to the channel, my family has decided to become more self-sufficient, and we invited everybody to join us on that journey. So hopefully you'll want to join us as well. This video is 10 steps to get you started on becoming more self-sufficient. If this sounds like something that you'd be interested in, then please stay tuned. And as we say around here, let's go down the shore. Hello, and thank you for coming back and sticking with me on this video. I had to bring out my notes because I want to make sure I get this definition correct. So basically, people have asked, what does self-sufficiency even mean? And the definition of self-sufficient is able to maintain oneself or itself without outside aid, capable of providing for one's own needs. So basically, it's the practice of living frugally, growing and preserving food, and not being reliant on others. While being self-sufficient is something that everybody should look towards as a goal, but it also comes with a lot of hard work, dedication, and a lot of life lessons. And hopefully you'll decide that even though it's hard work, you're still willing to take on this challenge. Rocco's sitting here patiently waiting for me to finish this video so we can go play. So don't forget to send him some hearts in the comments below so that he knows everybody enjoys him. The reason that I'm underneath the pergola today is it's going to be another rainy day, dreary, cold, windy, and this blocks out the wind. My number one step for you is to start a timeline or a chores list for your daily, weekly, and monthly chores. This way, you'll know how much time you need during the day, daily, weekly, and monthly, to get all the chores that you would like to get done completed in a timely manner. You also need to add in time for doing some exercise and working out to get yourself in shape to be able to handle the tasks that are required to becoming more self-sufficient. You also need to add in time to do projects that you want to get completed and projects that you don't want to hire other people for and do yourself. So you need to be in shape for those projects. For instance, my husband and I bought our house 4 years ago, and we renovated the entire inside of the house all by ourselves. We didn't have any outside help. We learned how to do plumbing. My husband did research on how to do tile, and he tiled our front foyer, our kitchen, pantry, and laundry room, all on his own without anybody's help. So basically, it took us 2 years to renovate the entire house inside, and there's still a few things that I'd like to get done, but we did it all on our own. So that is what it means to becoming more self-sufficient. We didn't have to hire anybody to come out and do that work. Number 2 would be to start a financial budget and stick with it. Make sure you keep track of all your spending. Make sure you add in ways of getting out of debt. Make sure you add in ways of saving money, and definitely keep some cash on hand just in case there's a power outage for a long stretch and you can't get to an ATM machine or you can't get to the bank to get some money out. At least you'll have some cash on hand if you have to go get some gas or some propane for your heater, or to go buy a gallon of milk if you need it. Because there are times when you can't get to the ATM or the ATMs are down. Number 3 would be to start a garden. If you don't have enough room for a large garden or even a small garden, there are lots of vegetables that are fast growing that you can grow in containers, and it will reduce the amount of times that you have to go to the grocery store. It's healthier for you, and it'll save you on your budget. You can grow in containers in an apartment up on a balcony. You can grow inside your apartment with a metal rack with $20 LED lights to start your seedlings off, and continue to grow those vegetables underneath those lights. So there's no reason to not start a garden. Number 4 would be to get some chickens, turkeys, quail, geese, or ducks for either eggs or meat. Learn how to process them so that you're not relying on somebody else. Now, I know that culling out an animal might be a little disheartening, but if you raise the animal and treat it as if it's a product and not a pet, don't name it, don't look at it as if it's a pet, it does help in the process. And knowing that that meat is going to feed your family actually helps with that process. And you won't be reliant on anybody else to do it for you. Now, I will say for myself and my husband, we haven't gotten to that point yet. There's no way I could cull off one of my chickens. We only raise them for eggs, and Rocco likes it when I go out there and get the eggs in the morning, bring him in a new fresh egg, crack it open, and he eats it right up. He loves it. I'm going to have to get my notes for number 5 because I want to make sure I get them all in. Learn how to preserve. You can either freeze, pickle, ferment, dehydrate, salt for preserving meat. Canning and vacuum sealing is the best way to prevent you from having to go to the grocery store as often as you do. If you preserve the food that you grow, and if you process your chickens and preserve them, or any other meat that you grow, then you could have a year's worth of food and not have to go to the grocery store for those items as often, if at all. Also, this kind of goes along with being frugal by growing your own food and growing your own meat. Try to repurpose as much as you can of anything that you have on your homestead. For instance, I made a feature wall in our living room out of pallet wood. I took the pallets apart, I sanded all the boards down, I stained them, and I created a feature wall behind our TV in our living room just from pallets that my husband got from work for free. And I've also used those pallets to make shelves in the living room to put things on. So even though I didn't have the pallets on my homestead, I was actually able to use them. My husband saw a chicken coop up the street and a table and chairs that someone was throwing away. I cleaned up the chicken coop, disinfected it, repainted it. The chickens love it, and they lay their eggs in it every day. The table and chairs, I sanded it all down, repainted it, and refinished the top, and it's a beautiful table and chairs. You should always try and figure out the item that you're getting ready to throw away, if there really is nothing else that you can do with that item, to repurpose it in any way before you actually dispose of it. So like I was saying about upcycling, this is the chicken coop that I upcycled that my chickens use to lay their eggs in every day. They have a coop in the back here that we purchased when we first got them, and they sleep in that, but they like to lay eggs in this one for some reason. This covered run my husband and I built from a shed when we bought this property. This frame was sitting over here next to our other shed, and it wasn't finished being built, so we took the frame from over there, moved it here, and created this covered run for our chicks so that when they come out in the morning, they have a covered area if it's raining or snowing out to be in, and then they can go through this door that my husband made and go out into the long run that goes all the way down the property against the fence that's covered to keep the hawks away. So upcycling is definitely a good thing. Number 6 would be to make your own bread and pastas. One, they're healthier for you because they're not full of chemicals. And not only are they not full of chemicals, but they're much healthier for you because you know what ingredients you put into that to make it. Number 7 would be to grow herbs for medicinal usages. I'm not saying don't go to the doctors anymore, but I will say that I had a cold last winter and I used a home remedy of garlic and honey and put it in the fridge, and it definitely helped my cough go away. There are many resources out there for you to learn how to grow the herb, turn it into a medicinal use for all kinds of ailments. And if you don't have to go to the doctor for a simple cold or flu, then that saves you a copay, maybe a deductible, and time off from work and travel back and forth to the doctor. So that makes you more self-sufficient right there. Number 8, make your own fertilizer and compost for your garden. There's a lot of research on there on how to make your own fertilizer for your garden. For instance, we have a fish tank that we clean once a week, and we use that fish water for our plants in our garden to add nitrogen to the garden naturally. The compost is all the scraps from our kitchen, along with leaves and twigs that we find around the property. And it helps amend the soil every single year to keep it healthy and full of microorganisms. You can find ways to prevent pests by putting a bug netting over your garden. That gets rid of 90% of pests right there, and you won't even have to spray your garden. Number 9 would be make your own all-purpose cleaner, laundry soap, hand soap, shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste, you name it. There are many recipes out there where you can make your own in a more healthy way than what you can buy in the store that is full of forever chemicals. I don't know if you've all heard about these, but they're PFOS or PFAS, depending on which chemical you're talking about. And they're forever chemicals because it takes them years to break down. And you're putting that into your body every time you get exposed to them. For instance, all the soaps that we get in the stores, most of them have chemicals that weren't used 20, 30, 40 years ago, and they are forever chemicals. I'm not saying be extreme and do it all at once. Find some recipes, test them out, and if you like them, stop going to the store and buying that product. Make your own product. I don't make my own laundry soap because you have to be careful. I have an HE washing machine, and I know most people do. And if you use some of these homemade laundry soap recipes, you can damage your washing machine because the HE washing machines use less water and require less suds. And some of these older recipes are for hand wash, old school way of doing laundry. Be cognizant of that and really do your research before you make your own laundry soap. I do buy from a company called Truly Free. I'll link it below. I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever, but I will tell you they work amazing. I had an air conditioner leak water onto a windowsill and it got all over my white curtains. And I never thought it would come clean, and they looked brand new when they came out. So, and it's not full of forever chemicals. It's all natural soap. And finally, number 10 would be to capture rainwater. I can show you how to make a rain barrel out of a regular 30-gallon trash can, and I'll create that video in the future. But I basically created one, and I captured that rainwater to use in my garden and other things around the house. I will say, though, if you're planning on drinking from that water, you have to filter it. There are many countertop gravity water filters out there that you can purchase, like a Berkey, which gets rid of everything. You can make your own gravity water filter, which I can show you in a future video if you'd like, but you definitely should filter the water before you drink it. Besides rainwater, you can research and learn how to do a shallow hand pump well, so that if the grid goes down, you can still pump a little bit of water from the ground level to wash your dishes or wash your laundry if you have to, if it's that long. You could hire someone to put in a well on your property, but make sure you have some way of running the pump if the power goes down, because they do require a pump to bring up the water to the surface for you. And I would put an osmosis filter in your house if you're going to use a well, because that will get rid of everything. And solar panels would be good to put on your pump so that you know it's always available to get water. Or you could go really old school and do like the Amish do and get a hand pump well with a bucket. I'm not doing that. There's no way. I am looking into getting the hand pump shallow well, though, because that's something we could do on our own, and in an emergency, if we ever needed some water, it would be available, and we wouldn't need electricity to get the water up to where we need it. So I'm going to go back to my notes just so I know that I've summed everything up for you guys. So basically, you need to get a budget, stick to it, get out of debt, and have some savings. You need to make sure you have some cash on hand just in case for some reason the ATMs or the banks are out of service and you have some cash to go get, say, a gallon of milk if you ever needed it. Learn some new skills so that you don't rely on other people to come fix a lawnmower, weed whacker, do the brakes on your truck, do some plumbing in your house, or do a little bit of electrical work. You'd be surprised what you can learn by doing a little bit of research and practicing. Make your own fertilizer, make your own hand soap, laundry soap, hair products. There's so many different things that you can do research on and figure out how to grow or make on your own without any assistance from anybody. Not to mention, a lot of the things that we get in the stores now, most processed foods have chemicals in them that weren't around 50 years ago. So I myself have tried to remove all processed foods from our diet. We try to not eat out very often at all and cook everything from home so that we know what goes into the food that we eat. Capture rainwater so that you always have water no matter what's going on around you. I would suggest getting solar panels, wind turbines, some way of getting electricity, just in case there's a big storm and the electric is out for days. At least you have some way of keeping the conveniences of home. Grow your own herbs and make your own tinctures so that you don't have to go to the doctor as often. That saves you on your deductibles, your co-pays, the back and forth travel to the doctor's office for simple medications that you could do on your own. So if you stuck with me through this entire video, then I applaud you for taking on the challenge of becoming more self-sufficient. It's definitely a struggle. It's definitely something that you really have to trial and error on, but it's definitely worth it in the long run to be less self-sufficient on anybody else. So please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the bell notifications for all future videos, because there's going to be a lot of videos on becoming more self-sufficient. Comment below on ideas that you may have to becoming more self-sufficient that I didn't bring up in this video today. This will start a conversation and hopefully we can all learn together. And please don't forget to put some hearts down in the comment below for Rocco, because he patiently waits for me to do these videos for you guys so that we can go play afterward.